With me, I have some guests today to discuss a very, very big issue that is trending here and there. We are having a problem of teenage pregnancies. Now, areas of Hoima, areas of Gulu, areas of southern Uganda, Kabale, we are seeing a very, very, very big issue when it comes to teenage pregnancies. Why? Because, of course, we have a lot of relaxation going on. People are not doing anything, and so you find that these teenagers, instead of focusing on other things, they are very busy focusing on old people things. So in studio with me, I have some guests to help us discuss and decipher exactly how we can handle this situation, what is going on ground to you, the Ugandan that does not know, and which areas need to be tackled in order for this issue to really, really be solved. It is very, very unfortunate that we are even having to discuss teenage pregnancies. But let me introduce to you my guests today. We have Angus Nasasira, who is the ED of Kugonza Youth Impact Uganda. He will be telling us all about that. And we have Seth Nyesiga, who is the Deputy Legal advisor of the same company, Kugonza Youth Impact Uganda. Please welcome to the show, gentlemen.
Thank you very much. We are so glad that we are here as Kugonza Youth Impact Uganda, and we are here to speak to the nation on what is happening. We are in a pandemic, but there is that one pandemic that is in with our kids.
We have a pandemic in a pandemic.
Yeah, I usually tell people this is another pandemic because if we realize what's happening to the country and how girls are getting pregnant, I really see that's a pandemic itself.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's talk about, first of all, Kugonza Youth Impact. Kugonza, I think, means love.
Yeah.
And youth impact, we understand that it is impacting the youth. Tell me a little bit about Kugonza Youth Impact.
Yeah, my name is Angus Nasasila.
Yes.
I happen to be the executive director of Kugonza Youth Impact Uganda. Kugonza, mainly the word Kugonza, it really brings out what the youth impact has come for. These are young people that really have come up to speak about on what is happening. Because of their love, we are not ready to go around the streets, but we are ready to at least curb one of the pressing issues under our sisters, under that fraternity. And we feel with the love that we have, this is the right time for at least all the people to join and say, no, this must stop. We used to see the climate action come in. I have a friend called Edwin Humza,
yes,
who came up and spoke about climate action, and everyone in Uganda was all about climate action, plant a tree. But I feel now that we are, as the young nation, we need to speak about what's hurting us, like teenage pregnancy is real.
Yes.
Though most of the people keep it at a low pace, but it's real. So what do we do now? We need to come up. Because of that love, we find ourselves calling it Kugonza because of the love that we have for the nation.
Amazing. Maybe I'll ask Seth to tell us a little bit about the vision or mission, vision and mission of Kugonza Youth Impact.
Thank you so much. One, Kugonza is, like he said, a loving word. This love starts from a parent.
Yes.
Because charity begins at home.
That's true.
We looked at aspects of teenage pregnancy to be talked about, because initially, a child belonged to all the parents in our culture, African culture. But today, a parent even goes to the school and tells the teachers, do not beat my child. And yet, charity begins at home. And then there's this saying which says, spare the rod, spoil the child.
That's true.
So, this love that we should tell the parents that the career and guidance you use to give to the children is always inspired and makes this child focused towards the cause of being someone in future.
Okay.
Who does not want to moderate such a show in the morning? But when you open up at a younger age, you can't achieve that.
Okay, let's get into the teenage pregnancy discussions. First of all, what causes what is the main cause of teenage pregnancies today? Because we are looking at rising numbers each and everywhere, especially in the outskirts. In Kampala, it is there, yes, but we are seeing it in the rural areas like a problem every day in the news. So what is the main cause?
The main cause to the rural areas, I think, said something about the morality we have today. the way the parents are really taking care of their kids. So it all drives back to the community we are in now.
Yes.
I remember when I was young, I was not a son of my father and my mother alone. My uncles used to tell me, no, look, Angus, you should not go this way. But today you even find your own sister having a phone at the age of maybe, let's say, 15, and you're free saying, no, it's fine, let them have phones. So the community is the main cause now.
Yes.
I would even drive it back, the fact that it's the community. Now let's think about poverty. The poverty index in Uganda is so alarming.
That's true.
It's true that you people get some money here. I always call it some money here. But there is that one mother who is in the village who cannot sustain the life there. So what do these people do? The girls rather go for something else. That's sex, because they do not have the money. Last time we saw Canaries speak about sex for pads. I've personally moved to the slums at least thrice. I always do this every after 1 month. And when I was interviewing someone in the slums, this girl was frankly telling me, you know what, we mainly go for sex because we do not have the money.
That's true.
So someone tells you the reason is because there is no money. Like they have no food. So they rather offer having sex and getting pregnant because they do not have food. And this girl tells me she was 13. When she shared with the mother, she had no pads, they had no food. So the mother is like, you know what, when I was at your age, I used to look for myself what to eat. So get out the house and go look for what to eat. So the girl gets out, getting with the boy, the girl gets pregnant. I have a friend who is Ronald. He had some organization called Touch the Slum, and Ronald was in for this girl. She's helping the girl, but it all comes back to the poverty index in Uganda today.
Yes.
And I would also say the structures we have today, because you find at the age of 13, someone cannot think. All they want is benefiting from the parent. So how do we now change the mindset that even at 13, I can own a business? Because I mean, all people have always said, we have seen UN speak about self-employment
and empowerment.
To you girls. So I believe it's now for us to at least have the right solution to the girls, not speak about this solution. If the Muga funds are coming, can they now bring them to the real youths, to the teens? Because I feel the reason why they go for sex, it's because they do not know what to do.
That's true.
Yeah, I think I can drive it there.
Okay, just before we get to Seth, I would like us to look at the numbers. Early 2019, I think I remember there was a 16% increment of people getting pregnant early, and that was due to school dropouts, people dropping out of school. And so I'd like you to tell us the numbers currently. Where do we stand? And also, is it that the not going to school that is still causing this problem?
Yeah, the numbers, we are now on at 8.5% according to Unifier. 38. So you can imagine young people between the age of 13 and 20 who are just in that circus now. That's so alarming. I think I had even shared along with my team on the Uganda tomorrow. If we can have Toro as a region itself, it has around 1,600 girls that are pregnant.
That's true.
These girls are going to produce other 1,000. And these girls are unemployed. Like their life is not in a good state. So meaning that we shall have a challenge of poverty if we do not fight for the cause today, if we do not say no to teenage pregnancy and find ways. Because I remember I had a meeting with the Minister of the Youth in the Kingdom, and I was sharing the same issue. You guys have enough land. We have a chance that the government is giving out seedlings. Why don't you engage these girls into agriculture? So I feel it's the role of everyone. If maybe STV would partner up with Kugonza and we say, let's go to Kalamoja and speak about this. Because people have land, and all we are good to do now is that we sleep, and that's the life we just need. So it's everyone's responsibility. Just as you are here, the moderator, do you take time to speak to your sister? Because I feel this is the only way to go now. Let's talk to the real people now.
Thank you so much for that question, because it is the people in our community themselves that are failing to control maybe their sisters and brothers, like you've said. I don't know if it's wrong or right for them to have phones at a young age, because you know, when you're exposed to social media, anything can happen. Yeah, you get to talk to people, you get to have secret conversations, yet you're still young. Yeah, which really becomes a big problem. And I think it is true that STV should partner with such companies like Kugonza to end teenage pregnancies that have become a problem. Teenage pregnancies have very many challenges, including health-wise, you know. But just before I get into that, Seth, is there any legal, is there any law that prevents these children from getting into these such situations, having sex early and stuff like that?
Thank you so much for that wonderful question. We request the government to put in action the laws existing.
That's true.
The laws are documented, but the action impact,
the policies,
is not there. One, Honorable Miriam Matembe, the retired, brought a very, very nice idea, but it was
bushed and
bushed. Because I imagine if one example of a man who impregnates a 13-year-old girl is, he would be an example to the rest.
That's true.
The rest would fear, right? But when she brought it up, no one embraced it. The laws are there. Yes, we thank God that the laws are there.
But
putting them in action, implementing the laws. We hope that if these laws are implemented, the rate at which teens get pregnant in our country today can't stay the same.
Okay. I'll just ask you this. Can you elaborate on these laws? Or can you tell us, as from a lawyer's point of view, elaborate about the situation? Like, if the law says maybe do not get pregnant early, how then is it supposed to be? How do you advise it to be put into action?
Now, the laws that we have in our country today talk about defilement law and after it happening.
Yes.
But it does not tell this girl that when you get pregnant, to the girl mostly, that when you get pregnant you're going to face this consequence. But to the men, they may imprison you. But after 3 days you'll be given maybe police bond
and a fine.
Or a little fine, and then you're released. 2, court bails. I believe that someone who kidnaps and someone who impregnates a girl or a person should not be just like the president has usually said. Someone who kills is not really just...
It's dangerous to
It's
society.
so dangerous to the society and community.
That's
so he should not be just given court bail, just there and then because it's in the law. No, should take deep, because we must get someone to act as an example to the rest of the community that this is bad and should not be repeated again.
As Kugonza, what are you planning? What's the plan for you to make sure that this is solved? As Kugonza, not as the government, because if we wait for the government,
true,
it may take its time. There's a lot of issues to deal with.
Let me tell you a small scenario. We went to Kalangala for an outreach, for sensitization and so on and so forth. A fisherman who has 10,000 shillings will use the 10,000 to sleep with a grandmother, the daughter, and the grandchild. Reason? Because of that increased poverty. You get? So as Kugonza Youth Impact, we look at empowering this girl child. Maybe teach them how to weave. Maybe teach them how to do any other stuff so they can at least earn 500 a day. Them earning 500 a day or 1,000 will not make them yearn for the 1,000 from a fisherman to sleep with them.
But do they want? The problem is that we have very big-headed girls now.
No, it's all about, you see, one thing I've realized with Africa and with we that are just from campus is that we just need that awareness.
Yeah, true.
I would even bring it back to SDG number 13. Edwin came out in Uganda and he was like, no, cutting trees must stop. And we have seen him on panels. We have seen him create that. I have a friend who is a doctor under MTN Uganda. He has planted trees, and people are knowing that. I saw some clip on NBS about people in some district that were shouting about tree cutting. So it now needs the same solution.
I remember the tree cutting. They really made noise.
So that's what we need. We just need that noise. Can STV, you in person, by the way, let's leave STV. you in person, can you make up a post and say, no, this must end?
Okay.
Yeah.
There's when he posted about teenage pregnancy in a certain WhatsApp group. Then someone just uttered out a weird statement that maybe you castrate us. No,
What?
we won't castrate you. But we believe that when we continue sensitizing people, at least we shall save a soul.
That's true.
Because you tell, as Kugonza, we tell this young girl that when we were still young in high school or primary, our teachers would say, what do you want to be in future? Then we all raise up our hands and say, we want to be lawyers, we want to be... But trust me, you open up today, as Kugonza, we sensitize and tell you that when you open up today, you want to become that you wish to do.
Yes.
You want to become that you want to achieve.
Okay, because when you are going to talk to these girls, you're not going to talk to them at a level of a lawyer or at a level of an executive director. You're going to come down to their level where they can understand you. So let's get into that. Give me the solutions that you're going to use, aside from you're going to make them weave or learn how to sew some clothes. Because very many companies, let's be real, very many companies have come out to do that. But you know where they fail is the fact that it's not that easy. It's easy to talk, but for actions, it's not that easy to convince someone who is earning 5,000 shillings, like he said, from a man somewhere, to say now you can start earning 500 by doing hard labor. So, because we do not want Kugonza to die out like these others, we want it to have a different touch to things. What is that different thing that you're going to do different from these other companies at the level where they can understand you?
Oh, wow. Now, I would still now start with you. Can you join us? We have clubs. We're having clubs and we are engaging girls and boys in these clubs. To an extent that one is in Kalangara, then Liantonde and Mukono.
Yes.
We have a team, we are doing our study. Can it be possible by the way? Just as you said, because we have seen other organizations come on board and they're doing the same, but it has not changed. I think I have a partnership with Uganda Kingdom now under the Liantonde district. We are looking on how do we at least curb it with these young ones that we already have. The affected one and those that are not yet affected. In this, what do we do? Every Saturday we shall always have what we call a food soul. Because I realize it's very hard to tell this girl that has been sleeping with the other man of 5,000 to change her and say, you know what, you can employ yourself. But what do? We have what we call a soul food. We speak to them, and one thing I've realized, people love dancing. Then they have their dance, then they bring in their views. You know what, director? Next weekend we want this. So with time, you realize that this person is changing slowly by slowly.
Yes.
And just as maybe I would even use our president. If our president didn't go to the bush, we couldn't have the independence. He started when he was one. The thought came in, I think I can really liberate this country. So through the thought coming out, he called in the other people. That is what Gonza is doing.
Okay.
We are using a small segment to at least push. Because when the first time we even visited the slum, I think we had 20 members, but the 20 members called the other 20, and that's the way we are at least doing that.
Okay.
Yep.
Maybe to chip in a little bit.
That's true.
You see, most organizations do the sensitization on TV, radio, where most youth maybe don't participate and view. But if we go down to the slums, in Kawaragala, in Kawempe, down there, let them feel they are loved. Let them feel they are thought about. If you're going there, go with some pads, give to them. They will feel a place of belonging.
Okay, two last questions. Because now, first of all, you've asked me how I'm going to come in. As a qualified reporter, I'll have to come to the slums and cover the stories, bring them to STV and make sure they are aired.
Oh,
yeah, every time, if need be. And then secondly, such companies like yours really need funding. We cannot go away without talking about the fact that they need funding. What's the strategy to get, because this has to be done with money. You cannot just do it without the money. Is there any plan for funding? And do you want to call upon people maybe to help out, or are you covered in that area?
No, we are not covered. I now go back to the Agenda 2030 under the UN that speaks, that's SDG number 17, partnerships mainly. We cannot push this country to where we need it if it's not partnership. Just as you said that you can chip in. And that's how God has really blessed us. You're just on TV and someone is like, you know what, next time as you're going for the outreach, let me know. Next time, Saturday, I'm buying food for these people. I'm giving them pads.
Amazing.
That's the partnership we say. And I would really thank the UN, the convention when it sat, and these people are also thinking about the partnership. So for last curb teenage pregnancy, I still say it's all about partnership. I will not always speak about this. And when I thought of this with my friends, I shared to other friends. Other friends shared to other friends. We have a WhatsApp group.
That's
we have
true.
a Twitter. We're on Facebook. Like, it's everyone's role, by the way, now. I usually tag His Excellency and the wife and the minister. Them being a president, I'm looking at the president coming down, and you know the president is speaking about teenage pregnancy. I'm looking at the daughters. I'm looking at the minister herself, the new minister. Peace. If she would come back to the slums, these people do not come to the slums. They do not go to the right ground and see what is happening. But if you met your sister, I'm looking at your sister, I don't know if you have a sister, but look at your sister who is 13, and this girl is all pregnant at 13. On the day of giving birth, do you know what happens? You try and go to the hospital. Let these girls give you a testimony of what at least they have gone through. I hope you have not given birth yet. No. But I've seen someone in labor personally. Now, just imagine someone who is 13 giving birth. So I feel it's all about the partnerships. Goal number 13. I happen to be under the Youth Coalition of the UN. I still stand for SDG number 3. Good health and well-being of the citizens. If the country can just get to know that we signed the UN Convention, Agenda 2030, and we are looking to achieving that under the coalition, then it's everyone's role to calm down, leave alone the respects, leave alone the suits we put on, the smart things you are. No, let's go back and speak to the girls.
That's true. Okay.
There's a girl in Kalanga at 13 still. I think she was 13. When she was giving birth, of course the head came out first. So after the head coming out, she lost energy. And remember,
because she's still young.
And remember, there are no transport means
to rush her.
Maybe from the island. She was in the island.
Remember, it's an island. So the time she was taken to Masaka Health Center 403, she couldn't deliver. So what they had to do was to cut the head, push the thing inside, and then operate. Meaning the baby was normal. It was just the mercy of the Lord that the girl would survive. So that's the story of what is happening down there.
Very heartbreaking stories. Very, very, very heartbreaking stories.
But I believe that when we come together, you and I, because I think that there is no forest that doesn't have those, because Safe and Angus will not be here, but Ugonza will be here forever.
That's true.
So meaning that when we continue spreading the gospel to the down people and wherever, this embracement of preaching the gospel against teenage pregnancy, more so in this pandemic. Because remember, they are home, they go to fetch water, and these, by the way, those village girls are just being lied with, are just a sweet.
Yes.
Just a sweet. And just know that your future is finished because of a sweet.
Of a sweet.
So we can tell them that this can change.
Wow. Lastly, what's your partnership with the doctors? Because if you're below 18 years, you're still a baby or a child. Even those of 18, we don't expect them to be pregnant. Now, 13, 12 years, carrying a baby is very, very terrible. What is your partnership with doctors so that these doctors can come out and even do some sensitization? Or they can come out and tell people the dangers of being pregnant early?
I've moved, anyway, I always move with my team, with my friends and everyone who comes to join us. We were in Kalangara, I asked a partnership with the Health Center 3, and these people are still telling me, wait for the MOU, you know, all that stuff. But the truth is, as long as we wait, girls are getting pregnant. Just as you said, if doctors came today and they're all saying, no, this must stop. By the way, now this drives me to the religious leaders
as well.
I'm from Liantonde district, Kawara, Kashagam, ranch number 9. I come from that place. I really love my place. So I'm in that district, but it's so alarming, that's the cattle corridor, that these people, for us, we feel nice forcing girls into marriage. I've had a serious chat with our MPs, you know, with all those leaders, with policymakers on what's happening. I now drew close to the reverends. You find this man with his ngoro, in our language, with this white thing, in church, wedding someone of 14, 15. Frankly.
What? Have you witnessed that?
Yeah, I have personally.
Because
in the other lockdown, some girl of 15, I even tried my best.
The need for cows is better than someone's future.
That's what I was coming to. That now, even in my home in Shema, you find that someone gives you one cow for your daughter, and you give your daughter away. So it's even the causes are too many.
Someone does not look at education as being important at all.
The causes are too many to the extent that even parents can give away their daughter for a cow in exchange for just one cow. And you find them going into marriage at 13 years of age.
I was suggesting to him and the entire team that we would approach schools. We come with maybe the religious leaders, because career days in schools are no more. People find that being in class always to learn how to cockroaches and what is so important than career guidance. But if we had career guidances.
That's true, but we are in a pandemic now. These 2 minutes, let's use them to discuss that. We are in the pandemic.
I know.
Now there are no schools. So what advice are you giving to people now that we don't have schools that are open, people at home?
One, you people will stay poor. I'm speaking to the parents. You will stay poor if you do not realize that that girl you have is not an asset of getting a cow, but an asset of making your future. That's one. Two is that I would want to introduce a family fellowship. Gone are the days we used to have this, but it's no more. My mother and my father used to tell me my mother used to tell me when I'm going back to school, HIV is real, and when you impregnate someone, never come back home. I grew up with that. So we need what we call family fellowship. It's for everyone, and it's everyone's role to curb teenage pregnancy. That's the only way to go. We're in the pandemic. How often do you speak to your sister? How often do I even speak to my people in the village? The fact that I'm also here. So it's everyone's role. The fact that we're in the pandemic, it's everyone's role. I wish I can see the minister herself coming down, the minister of gender, coming down. Those, the likes of Jacob. Those people who sit in for us at the National Youth Council, what have they done? It's their time, the fact that it's a pandemic. Let's have more panels, let's have everything on the social media, and this is going on. By the way, we're having a program of 30 days of actions in curbing teenage pregnancy. It's going to be viral on social media. Join us, please.
Okay.